how are you? It's Stephanie from the Quilter's Planner, and today I'm going to show you how to sew our third block of the month. It's the March block. Some of you have already gotten going on it. It's really a nice, straightforward, simple block that uses squares and rectangles. So stay with me and let me show you how it goes. As you can see, it's just squares and rectangles, super easy. So let's check out. I've already cut my fabrics. And the biggest thing I could tell you with this block, it's really straightforward, but take a minute to find a way to label your fabrics, because just with all of these squares and rectangles, it's easy to mix things up. As you can see, I'm going to do this block in red and gray. I have a red and gray sampler version going that I'm going to be very excited to have for the holiday season when we're done. So you can see I've got my fabric A 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares, fabric B 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch squares, a background fabric that's 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and background fabric that's 2.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So open up to your magazine again. Step 1, we're going to arrange and sew together one fabric A square. Here we go. And we're going to sew together 2 of the background rectangles on either side, just like this. So we're going to pin these together and go sew at a scant 1/4 inch, and we are going to make 2 of these rows. Right, go sew, and I'll see you back in a second. Now, if you can check out my measurement, so here's a 1/4 inch. The thread is just on the inside of that black dotted line. So that's what we call scant. Perfect. And if you want to give your strip sets a quick measure before you move on, they should equal 12.5 inches long, okay? We've set our 2 strips to the side, and now for step 2, we're going to arrange and sew together 2 of fabric B squares and 3 of the background squares that measure 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And we're going to set them up like this, sew them together, and we're going to press inward toward those red squares. Okay, let's do it. Now we have sewn together 2 of these strips, okay, and measure them again. Make sure that you're at 12.5 inches long, so they'll match these guys over here. And we're going to do one more row. That is our center row, and for that we are going to take, let's see, we need 3 of our fabric A's. 1, 2, 3, and I'm sure you can tell I have an extra one here. At this point, the picture in the magazine shows fabric A as orange, but I am using gray because I am a rebel. And then we are also going to use 2 of our background fabrics, and those should measure, am I right? And those should measure 2.5 by 3.5 inches. But before, in this row, we took our 2.5 and 3.5 inches and we oriented like this, right? But now, so it matched up with the 3.5 inches of our fabric B, but now this time, we are going to take our background fabrics and put them in between this way. And I think maybe this has confused a couple of people. So there you go. We're just changing the orientation of our background fabric, okay? So let's sew this last strip together and we will be ready to put our whole block together. Can you hear my kids downstairs? It is spring break here. Spring has sprung and it's gorgeous, but it does make it a little bit more challenging to get Mama's work done. But anyway, I'm going to lie out these blocks, these strips right now, and take a look, just eyeball them and see if it looks like my seams are lining up. And if something looks off, then take some time and think about whether or not you want to rip it out now, rip out a seam, and maybe recut something if maybe something was too short, and make your life a little easier and less stressful. Eyeball everything. It looks to me like things are lining up pretty well here with my seams. I love that our block designer, Cheryl, has actually given you pressing instructions for each row. It's going to make your blocks lie so much flatter if you follow them. So you see how I've pressed toward the reds here, and I pressed out toward the in toward the grays there. I hope I got it right. You know, if you don't get it right, it's not the biggest deal in the world. All right, we're all done. I love the traditional simplicity of this block. It's quick, it's easy, it's satisfying, don't you think? So I hope you enjoy it. Remember, there's only one of these March blocks in our sampler, but if you like it, make as many as you want. This would make a fabulous whole quilt. And by the way, our resident expert sewist, Leslie, has suggested with your sampler blocks that you take a few seconds to sew 1/8 of an inch around your finished blocks, because these are sampler blocks. You're going to be arranging them later, moving them around, seeing where you like them in your final quilt. So go ahead and take the time to do that. It will keep your fabric from fraying as you're handling it more, and it will keep your seams nice at the edges. So we recommend this for all of the blocks, not just this one. And make sure you also keep in mind, if you're fussy cutting, then, and if you're thinking of doing your quilt on point, then consider that when you're choosing how to fussy cut these squares. All right, I can't wait to see the other blocks you've sewn, and I will be online soon on Facebook and Instagram to show you the prize for this month if you should choose to enter your block. And remember, it's a random drawing. Because we really want everybody to have a chance to win, no matter what your skill or experience level is. All right, I will see you on the other side, on Facebook, on Instagram. Message me if you have questions, or right here on YouTube, and I will keep an eye out for your messages. Bye.